Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe television with me, Immaculate Fogwe. Our top stories tonight: the Cameroon Medical Council has suspended civil doctors between 6 and 12 months over serious professional negligence linked to the deaths of patients, including Dr. Bengono Barbara Nancy Hilary and also Stephanie Siwe. The sanctions announced after a disciplinary meeting on May 16 come as investigations continue to order controversial deaths in health facilities across the country. And also, few hours to the celebration of National Day, growing voices from academia and civil society are questioning whether the country still reflects the ideals of unity, justice, and equal citizenship. Concerns over tribalism, inequality, arbitrary arrest, and the suppression of dissent continue to fuel debate over the state of national cohesion. Those are top stories tonight. Good evening once more, and thank you so much for choosing Equinoxe Television. We begin this newscast to talk on health. Tension is rising in Cameroon's health sector as the National Order of Medical Doctors takes strong action against professional negligence. During a meeting in Betua, the council suspended several senior professors and equally doctors for the deaths of patients under their care. The body also gave a final warning to illegal clinics operating in major cities to comply with regulations or risk being shut down, as Malaglory tells us.
In their recent meeting in Betua East Region, the disciplinary chamber of the Council of the Cameroon Medical Council issued heavy sanctions following the high-profile death of Dr. Bengono Barbara Nancy Hilary at the Yaoundé University Teaching Hospital. Two of the nation's most senior medical figures, Professor Kwebong Eli and Professor Jamea Bonaventure, along with Dr. Theo Calvin, have been suspended from practice for 12 months. The ruling cited serious professional negligence and breaches of safety protocols during a fatal obstetric emergency. 4 resident doctors also received 6 months suspension for their roles in the tragedy. The crackdown continued to other health sectors, such as Clinique des Anges, following the death of Miss Siwe Stephanie. 3 doctors were also found guilty of negligence and complicity in the illegal practice of medicine, receiving suspension of up to 5 months. And a new investigation is underway at Clinique Jourdain regarding the death of a prominent journalist. The council also warned that non-physician practitioners have until June 30th to legitimize their facilities. After that, they will be shut down and prosecuted for practicing medicine illegally. To address the problem of healthcare services in Cameroon, the council is launching a project to help young unemployed doctors open their own private health units across all the 10 regions. They are also calling for urgent government intervention in the east region of the country, where a severe shortage of health specialists is exposing local population to serious health risk.
And away from health, since the start of the Anglophone crisis, the people of Ekombe Bonji in Bonge subdivision of the southwest region have been living without electricity. Schools destroyed during the conflict are still in ruins, making life extremely difficult for many families. Residents say the ongoing insecurity has also led to an increase in juvenile delinquency and teenage pregnancies among young girls. The population is now calling on the government to open an inclusive dialogue to end the crisis, rebuild schools, and equally restore peace and normal life, as Malaglory once more tells us.
Dilapidated school buildings lie in ruins, with their roofs destroyed and overgrown by grass. The sorry state of the government primary schools in Ekombe Bonji, Bonge subdivision of the southwest region, is a direct result of the ongoing armed conflict in the Anglophone regions. Most of the schools were burnt at the peak of the crisis. As a result of this, so many children abandoned school due to security reasons. Today, parents complain that the situation has increased juvenile delinquency and unwanted pregnancies among teenagers in the community.
Because it is not really easy for the youth. If we are also here, there's no work and there's a lot of insecurity nowadays because everybody now is wayward. So we are trying our best with the power given to us by the council and the vigilante group that will form to try and curb this insecurity in the community.
We get a lot of challenges for here because of these tramadors and so on. So we get plenty cases in where they be caused only by our own children. We fight all way for even catch the people them two where they sell them.
Aside this, Ekombembonji, one of the areas hardest hit by the crisis in Bonge, for over 8 years now continue to face the problem of electricity supply and acute water shortage.
Today, the quarter is so large with number of streets. By that time, there was no street. Number of houses are so large. So that tank now cannot carry the water supply. They cannot supply water off to the quarters now. They will have pipe, we have set pipe all over the street. Most of the time, we always have shortage of water, so water.
The people now plead with the government authorities to bring lasting peace to the Anglophone crisis and equally address the problem of electricity and water shortage in Ekombembonji. This to bring calm in the community and to improve the living standard of the people.
And now we talk something else. As Cameroon marks another National Unity Day, growing voices from academia and civil society are questioning whether the country still lives up to the ideals of unity, justice and equal citizenship. From concerns over tribalism and inequality to allegations of arbitrary arrest and suppression of dissenting voices, critics say the gap between Cameroon's national symbols and the lived reality of many citizens continue to widen. University lecturer Professor Nkuvondo and writer Eric Omarumbole, popularly known as Modibo Buba, among those challenging the state of national cohesion, calling instead of tolerance and accountability and a renewed commitment to Cameroon's bilingual and bicultural identity, as Babla Jonathan tells us.
As Cameroon commemorates another National Unity Day, concerns are being raised over the country's social cohesion and the realities behind decades of unity celebrations. Speaking during a university event, Professor Nkuvondo questioned whether genuine national unity truly exists in Cameroon, arguing that a small segment of the population has monopolized the country's wealth and resources, while many citizens continue to struggle with basic necessities such as water and electricity.
Après tant d'années de célébration de l'unité nationale,
what is the balance sheet of several years of celebrating national unity?
Peut-on véritablement parler d'unité nationale?
Can we speak of national unity when some openly preach tribalism and the rejection of others on national television?
De l'autre,
can we truly talk of unity when some citizens are subjected to the law while others act above it?
Les autres considèrent les lois ils sont censés avoir acceptées comme disait le musicien, comme de simples loisirs.
Echoing similar concerns in his book La douleur de la patrie, writer Eric Omarumbole, popularly known as Modibo Buba, reflects on what he describes as the painful realities of being a Cameroonian and the sacrifices endured by citizens who expressed love for their country. He recounts what he says was the unlawful search of his home, his arbitrary arrest and detention without an arrest warrant or any official administrative document justifying his detention. Several of his writings were confiscated during the process. Modibo Buba believes his arrest may have been linked to suspicions surrounding the title and content of his book. Through his work, He examines the contrast between Cameroon's democratic and national symbols, including the national anthem, flag, motto, and patriotic ideals, and the country's social realities marked by tribalism, identity-based tensions, and the marginalization of minorities. The writer is calling for stronger national consciousness rooted in Cameroon's bilingual and bicultural identity, while advocating tolerance, peaceful coexistence, and greater respect for citizens' rights and freedoms.
Babila Jonathan reporting there. Years of insecurity in Cameroon's southwest region have strained relations between civilians and defense forces, with allegations of harassment, intimidation, arbitrary arrest, and abuses often shaping public perception of the military in what authorities describe as efforts to rebuild trust and strengthen the army-nation relationship. The Limbe garrison has, for the first time in its history, opened its doors to the public during a 3-day open door event at the Limbe Community Field, showcasing the military's missions, equipment, and equally operations, as Rex Afon tells us.
For the first time in its history, the Limbe garrison has opened its doors to the public. At the Limbe Community Field, military and security units showcase their missions, equipment, and operational capacities during 3 days of open-door activities, which is part of activities to mark the 2026 National Day celebration. The initiative comes at a time when relations between armed forces and civilians in the southwest region have frequently been strained by accusations of harassment, intimidation, arbitrary controls, and abuses linked to the ongoing security crisis. Yet, beyond the military displays and polished presentations, organizers insist the objective is to build confidence and strengthen what authorities describe as the army-nation relationship.
We are responsible for the training of the young soldiers in the Navy that are transferred to the Navy.
The event brought together several elite and conventional corps of the defense forces. Military officials say the public is being educated on the specific roles and responsibilities of each corps in what appears to be an effort to humanize institutions many citizens only encounter during security operations and checkpoints. Observers note that the event also serves another purpose, projecting the strength, organization, and operational readiness of Cameroon's defense forces at a time of persistent insecurity in the region.
The aim of this exercise, this activity, is to make the population to understand that the army is there for their protection.
For many attending, the event presents a unique opportunity to interact with armed forces outside the tense atmosphere that has often defined civilian-military encounters in recent years.
And still within the context of National Day preparations, as Cameroon prepares for National Day celebrations, cleanup and decoration work is underway at various parade grandstands across the city of Douala. The sites are being prepared to welcome officials, security forces, and citizens for the official ceremonies. Long Manor visited some of these sites and now tells us how prepared they are.
Streets are swept. Sands are all cleared. The town looks neat in preparation of the 20th May. The grandstand is getting ready to receive the authorities, civilians, and military bodies for march paths to commemorate the Unity Day. The waste collection company, Isakam, makes sure the dirt are all picked up. as the streets of Douala comes alive with the national flag's decorations and a proud sense of unity, the city stands fully prepared to celebrate the National Day under the year's theme, Army and Nation, together for a united, peaceful and prosperous Cameroon.
And now we talk sports. A football analyst has described Cameroon's Group G in the 2027 AFCON qualifiers as difficult, warning that the Indomitable Lions cannot afford to drop points if they hope to qualify. And drawn alongside Congo, Comoros and Namibia during today's game in Cairo, Cameroon faces teams that have recently recorded competitive victories against them. And the qualifiers will run from September 2026 to March 2027, with only the top 2 teams advancing to the tournament, co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda. Sportsman Magic and Gable has details on that.
It is a tricky group for Cameroon. On paper, they are favorites, but Congo and Namibia both have recent wins over Cameroon in competitive games. Comoros also has a history of upsetting bigger teams.
Cameroon stands out as favorite in this group, owing to our performance at the last AFCON and owing to the pedigree of players we have presently in the Lions Den.
Cameroon will need to avoid dropping points at home and get at least 4 points from the away games in Brazzaville, Moroni and Windhoek for them to get their tickets without being disturbed. Cameroon has played all group mates before.
We should not equally undermine our opponents. Comoros. We saw what they did at the last AFCON. Morocco had a difficult tie with them at the level of the group stages, so they are a force to reckon with on the African continent. Congo, on its side, it's going to be a sub-regional derby, and once any Central African nation plays against Cameroon, it's always been very, very tough because it's a sub-regional derby. And let's not forget Namibia. Equally, I think the last time we played Namibia was at the qualifiers of this same competition. We won them just 1-0 at home and had a 0-0 draw back there in South Africa for the return game.
On the FIFA World Ranking, Cameroon is better placed than its opponents, which give them better chances of qualifying, but they don't have to make any errors.
It's not going to be easy, but Cameroon remains favorite, and if we are well prepared, would easily go through the qualifiers to the final phase of the competition.
48 teams will start the campaign, which later sees just 24 teams for the final tournament. CAF hasn't released the full fixture schedule, but Cameroon will play 6 games, home and away, versus each opponent. The top 2 of each group will advance to AFCON 2027, which runs from 10 June to 17 July 2027 in Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania.
And that sports element puts this first part of the news to an end. Second part is Talking Point. As Cameroon prepares to commemorate the 54th edition of National Day on May 20th, 2026, many citizens are reflecting on the promises of living together, a common destiny, and also collective sacrifice that shaped the nation's history. However, this year's celebration comes at a time when the country continues to face serious political and security challenges. In the Far North region, Boko Haram continues to claim lives, while in the northwest and southwest regions, it remains affected by the ongoing Anglophone crisis. Added to this are political tensions following contested elections, leaving many Cameroonians questioning the true state of national cohesion. Against this backdrop, many are now asking whether national unity in Cameroon is truly a reality or simply a facade. And to answer our question to these questions, we'll be having a political analyst. He goes by the name Simon MUKETE. Good evening, Simon MUKETE, and happy National Day in advance.
Thank you very much. I think Cameroon is celebrating one more here, a year where we have to sit back and reflect and think about who we are as a nation and also how we can redefine ourselves as Cameroonians, because today we are going through Cameroon is going through a lot of stuff. People don't believe in themselves. People accusing neighbors. People don't trust the country. The country is a bit shaking. So I think we definitely need to ask ourselves the right questions to move forward.
Yeah, as Cameroon prepares to mark the 54th edition of National Day tomorrow, many people, including yourself, given your introduction, seem perplexed about the true state of national unity in this country. How will you assess the situation today?
No, I don't think I'm confused. It's just that I love this country. Like all Cameroonians, we are so proud to be Cameroonians. We want this country to stay more united than ever, but also to find a way where we can get each Cameroonian, no matter where they are, to participate fully in the development of this wonderful and exceptional nation. I think there have been a lot of distraction and a lot of disturbance concerning the stability and the future of this nation. I think we have to really redefine and try to see how we can raise this nation together. But nobody should be left behind, because Cameroon, in the past 20 years, we have been raised in divisions and very unnecessary situations that have really embarrassed, and that have helped to restrain the strength, the positive energy that we know about Cameroonians. And I think this is why I'm a little bit disturbed about this celebration. But at the same time, I think we need an opportunity like this, we need a situation like this for us to come together and to really look into the mirror and say, yes, we are Cameroonians, but definitely we have to talk to each other very, very openly and very friendly to see how we can move forward.
Talking to Cameroonians very firmly, given the fact that the phrase national unity is often used by political leaders, as we can see on our TV platforms, radio platforms, can we consider it more of a political slogan than a lived reality in Cameroon today?
I think if I say it's not a political slogan, then I'm telling a lie. But I think that's what I'm worried about today. How do we get Cameroonians to be involved and to feel that they are Cameroonian and to feel that they can carry the message, that they share the message? I think we have to redefine things differently. We should not, like, what is the message today for this National Day? We were supposed to get Cameroonians to propose messages, but we have to exactly try to find a way where we can get each Cameroonian to feel that he's part of this national celebration. For the moment, it's not the case, because if we see the way we have been together towards each other, it's a very shameful thing. We have some politicians who just go about trying to to create a difference between Cameroonians because of their backgrounds, because of their ethnic backgrounds. I think things like this and messages like this, we shouldn't let them rule, because they try to create a serious test on our national stability.
In the course of this interview, you mentioned tribalism and nepotism as major factors fueling disunity. Could you please elaborate further on how these practices are affecting national cohesion?
This has been terrible, and this is also a political message. Politicians have found a way, because of their laziness, to place tribalism as a political message. Cameroonians among themselves, they live together. We have mixed marriages. We have Cameroonians from the north living in the south. We are from the south getting married to Cameroonians from the littoral, from the east, from the center region, from the northwest, from the southwest. So among Cameroonians, we don't have any problem. We are united. Remember, they have been the biggest reunification factor was when the Anglophones decided to join with the Francophones. That was a true message of love, of being together. So I think we shouldn't we shouldn't distract ourselves from these very important messages. Today, politicians have brought in tribalism and as a way to access to the top of the nation or to get political favorism. But I think for Cameroon today, this orientation, tribalistic orientation, is a shame for the politicians today. They have very few messages to offer to the population, and but they try to bring sad messages like this one. But I think I'm very grateful because Cameroonians have really been very wonderful towards this kind of messages, because they have really tried their best to make sure that they outpointed all these politicians who are having these strange and frightening messages. I mean, to really try to bring everything in the center so that we are focused on what is essential. What is essential today is for us to grow as a nation. No matter where you are, in the extreme north at Taradabara, at Ujila, or in the southwest, or in the northwest, or in the east, you should feel that this is your nation. And I think for us to make Cameroonians to feel that they are part of this nation, there should be a fair treatment of all Cameroonians, no matter where they are coming from. On education, on the state employment, give equal opportunities to all Cameroonians, being the youths, being the women. I think these messages should be very, very clear and legible for all Cameroonians, so that you don't have the impression that some people are being favored, and while others are just left on the sideline.
Now, looking at insecurity in the far north region, where we have Boko Haram attacks continue, and the crisis in the northwest region and the southwest regions, how much have these ongoing crises exposed, let's say, the cracks in Cameroon's national unity, despite years of official speeches promoting living together?
I think that the truth is that the government have done a lot to try to keep Cameroonians together. But, I mean, as I said, it's not enough. You can see that on this issue, even the government is divided. We have some members who are doing their best to make sure that we stay together, to make sure that we try to solve the crisis. I think for the far north, it's the same thing. We have to define who is in charge on behalf of the government to try to solve this crisis. We shouldn't have 10, 15 people speaking on behalf of the government. You can feel it on the Nozo crisis, that there is no clear messenger on the part of the government so far as this crisis is concerned. If I ask you to tell me who is in charge of the crisis on behalf of the government, nobody can tell me. Of which we have a prime minister who is the head of the government. He should be the one, and it's a traditional ruler. They should give him that opportunity and the position to handle this crisis. Same too with the Northwest. We have to define who is handling this crisis, because these are just creating a lot of cracks among Cameroonians. And remember, we have spent a lot of money trying to solve this crisis, which we could have avoided, but we are there. But how do we move forward from here? The Anglophone crisis has been there for almost 10 years now, almost a decade. You can see the disaster. When you come to, the internal migration is just something else. Most of Cameroonians from the Northwest are in Nigeria. Some are in Douala, some are in Bafoussam, some are in Limbe. You can feel the demographic pressure on some small cities. They can't handle it. This should accelerate the will to find clear solutions so far as the two crises are concerned, which are major crises. And the government is crying every day that they are spending a lot of money unnecessarily to solve this crisis, to try to solve. But at the same time, why can't they go for a clear solution? To talk. That's what it means. Unite means we have to talk. We have to talk to each other, no matter our differences, no matter how different we are, no matter our position. We need to talk so that we can converge, because, the ultimate goal for us is Cameroon and its stability. But how do we get Cameroon stable if we don't talk to each other? This is a real situation.
Now, Simon MUKETE, tomorrow we will celebrate National Day, but the celebration comes at a time when the Anglophone crisis is about to mark 10 years. In this context, is this day worth celebrating?
I feel so sad and a bit mixed up, because as an Anglophone, I am a bit worried and a bit disturbed. I'm a Cameroonian. As a Cameroonian, I think we should celebrate it. It's important to celebrate what brings us together. But I think we have to remember that the government has not done enough to try to solve this crisis, because we can't go on like this for 10 years. We have lost a lot of military men and women, a lot of civilians. So we have to find a way to try to solve this problem. This has been also a serious economic situation. I mean, you remember the Northwest used to be a serious agricultural background. I mean, backrest for Cameroon, and also for all those companies, telecommunication that had the Northwest was really their base, where they had a lot of money coming out from there. It has been a serious economic blow, and we need to come out with a clear solution plan, not only trying to reconstruct, because reconstruction will come after, but before reconstruction we have to try to build the people together. Cameroonians need to come together. The Anglophones need to come together. The Cameroonian as a whole, we need to come together, and so that we can create some kind of faith that people on that path have lost concerning the nation. We have to go and get them. There's an emotional work to put in place to bring back everybody into the house. And this cannot be done if we keep on pretending that there is no serious situation over there in the Northwest and Southwest. I think we have to look at it and try to find a way. The government might not intervene directly, but they need to pass through some some tough figures who are not in the government, who are not at all politicians, and try to find a way where they can define situation. Maybe not another grand dialogue, but they have to find a way to go and meet people and talk to them and bring them back on the table, and let's try to move forward, because it's just too much. We can't keep pretending. We can't be going on cosmetic measures and believing that we are going to solve the problem. The problem is there. Cameroon is there. We're celebrating the 20th May, the Unity National Day. I think as I reflect back, and I think this is an opportunity for us as Cameroonians to look into how we can redefine our nation to become a great nation as we had always been.
Simon MUKETE, thank you for accepting my invitation tonight.
Thank you very much once more for getting me on board.
That's how we saw it in tonight's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in a company of interesting programs on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now. May God bless Cameroon.